from my peers that, hey, this is the secret right here, this thing, right? This thing. What are you doing? And then, it would just frustrate me beyond anything.
Move over, baby boomers. It's time for Gen XYZ. It's time to stop waiting on the world to change. It's time to be the change. It's time to stop thinking about how your life can be better. It's time to start taking action, massive action to improve your life. Join Zach Winter and Markadair Rios every week as we learn how others have the grit, determination, and conviction to 10x their lives, and as we explore ways that can help you 10x your life.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the 10X for Gen XYZ podcast. I am Markadair Rios.
And I'm Zach Winter.
And on today's episodes, we have the honor to speak with Susanna Medrano. She is a high-performing Texas Realtor. She's been doing that since 2013. And she's also since become a top sales and leadership coach, as well as a mentor for Realtors. She's helped inspire, hundreds of agents across Central Texas, correct?
Just a little bit.
Tiny bit.
Just a little bit.
And she also just recently joined Waters International Realty Systems, helping head up their national sales and leadership program, training new realtors to come out and sell us all homes.
That's right. Be relentless.
Buildings.
Be relentless.
So welcome to the show, Susanna.
Well, thank you, Mark, and thank you, Zach. It's an honor to be with you guys today.
Well, fantastic. You know, one thing that pops up here, because we're from LA, and maybe you can talk a little bit about this. And I don't know if it's because sometimes people are behind the curve. I actually experienced this pre-crash, right? I got licensed back in 2004. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, I was just a horrible residential agent. But that opened the door for me in a lot of different aspects of real estate, and I moved into commercial and kind of have trod my path that way. But it's a thing out here now where when real estate is hot, people go out and they want to get their license. And
of course,
anytime you like, I mentioned people I'm in real estate, and I want to get my license, and I can do that. So I would love to hear just a little bit about your background, how you got into it, if something similar like that happened for you.
Sure.
And yeah.
Well, if you had told me that I would be currently not only a realtor, but a leader and in charge of helping, inspire and motivate not only agents, team owners, and, sales managers across the country, I would have laughed, because I wanted nothing to do with sales. Like, I thought it was kind of just like bad, the things that you kind of see in television. And so right out of college, I went straight into the nonprofit world. Like, that's, went into whether it was helping immigrants with H-2B visas at a corporate law firm, or helping immigrants in another different sector. And then my last nonprofit type of job was at the American Cancer Society. So all of that was always about helping people that were at a disadvantage and or in need of resources. And, with that specific job and profession, there's some things attached to it, right? There's always a ceiling, unfortunately, in that. I was very comfortable, but not comfortable, right? Making 30, 35,000 a year, especially during those years that you mentioned, from 2000 all the way till about 2012. I mean, it was always hitting the mark, but never being able to elevate or scale myself in a fast amount of time, and never really able to have financial freedom. And it wasn't until I ran into a very good friend of mine at a gala that was for, it's called CASA here in Austin, Texas. It's for children that are in the court system. I was there on a free ticket, again, social worker there, they're on a free ticket. And my friend was there, all in a tux, about to be the auctioneer. And he finds me in the crowd, because I've been bouncing around talking to Judge so-and-so, then state senator over there, and then the owner of this. And he's like, Susanna, you need to come work for me. I'm like, you're dressed in a tux and you're probably on a free ticket here with me too. He's like, no, I really want you to come, and I think you should try real estate. I think you should get your license, and I think you should come work for us over here at Waters International. And at the time, Chris Waters and Waters International didn't have a lot of brand awareness. I'm like, who the hell's Chris Waters? Like, what? Like, it's the Keller Williams, or you got your Caldwell Bankers,
Right,
but okay. Well, and I could ask you, Mark and Zach, like at any point in your life, have you ever had that weird midlife crisis where there's an opportunity, right?
Which one?
Right, exactly.
I'm having a midlife crisis right now. As we
But,
talk.
but you know what I'm saying, right? It's like you're sitting there and here's this opportunity. You know it's going to be hard. You don't know the end result of it, right? You could totally fail. You know people are going to have an opinion about it, right? But it's like in your heart, there's something there that is opening itself for you to just say yes.
And what do you think he saw in you that led him to say, you'd be good at this? I think you really need to come over.
I could talk to a wall and make it have feelings about being a good wall. I could talk to a wall.
I want to sell you some wallpaper.
I could talk to a wall.
You're very personable and you're very comfortable talking to strangers.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and if they have an issue, even more so. Give me your problem right here. Let me just put you on my back and let me take you. Let me take you across the pond, right? Like let me whatever the issue is. And so. Yeah, he challenged me to get my license. I got licensed in 90 days and joined Waters International. And in the fall of 2013, I did everything that they had developed as far as not only with the team model, but just being able to help agents scale at a very quick amount of time. Who knew? It was about making this your friend, just simple nuances that we all know to be true, but you have to break down a lot of things with people when they get into the business about, no, this really is your phone. Like this is your friend. This is what makes you money. And you gotta hold it.
That's such a good point.
It's like a pin, a realtor without a pin. It's the same thing. Like this is what makes you money in the real estate profession. So I joined them within the first year. I did everything they told me. Again, I'm coming out of nonprofit world. I have maybe a couple $100 in my bank account at this point, because that's what you do. There's only, a couple 2.99 Whataburger tacos that you can get, or Jack in the Box tacos, just to kind of keep you, for just getting the gas. And so in my first year, I helped 45 families, sold close to 12 million. I had no idea that in that time, that was a big deal. They didn't want to tell me. They were like, you just keep crushing it. No, you just keep on going it. You just, okay, try this, try that, do it.
Were you representing mostly sellers, mostly buyers?
Buyers. Only buyers. That's our
only
structure.
Buyers.
We start you there. You start there, prove yourself, because that's the first foundation. That's the first pillar that you got to learn in our model is, not only the prospecting phone skills, but then in that goes in the second pillar of being able to, do what I was good at, which was talk to a wall. So I had to, in order for me to get to where I needed to be, I had to master the phone, which, that had its little challenges, but once you get the hang of it, it should be fine. And then of course, the third pillar is becoming a market expert. So, you prove yourself there and on the buy side, and that was my trajectory. Soon after, got on the listing side, crushed it there. Soon after, became a team leader, probably within my third year of being within the brokerage. And then at that point, I was like, I think I just want to do production. I just want to do my own production. I love helping them, but I think this isn't for me. And then
what does that mean? Do your own production?
I just wanted to just focus on myself, not necessarily, helping grow a 7 people. At that time, my mind was kind of in a different place. And
so you didn't want to have a team of realtors working under you. You just wanted to do your own transactions representing buyers and sellers.
Exactly. I mean, I could have done it. It probably would have thrown me off course, because I think some of us get put in positions sometimes when we're not ready for it. Like we still have some things on this, it's the differences between being a top producer and a team leader. There's differences, but sometimes we take our top producers to think that they can correlate very well on this side of the house to make their own clones, and then it doesn't work. Well, within me, I still felt like I had some things to prove on this end. Even though I liked that, I was intrigued by it. I was like, no, I still have to just kind of get a little bit of more footing here. And at that time, this was 2016, my father had gotten really ill in his final bout of cancer. So that that got real for me, in the sense that, okay, I'm firstborn. And first off, if anything happens there, I need to take care of my family. I need to be in a position to take care of my family. And then it starts to, tinkle in. It's like, what is my legacy going to be? Am I only going to be just the realtor, which I'm good at, or do I want to take what I have been able to do in a short amount of time and be able to not only share that, but help push people in the way that I was pushed?
Were you getting frustrated with your team members? Is that what was happening? You were spending a lot of your time kind of corralling cats and trying to put them and get them to do things that you would normally just, hey, that's just natural. I pick up the phone, I call people, they don't do that. And now I got to figure out a new mode in order to, it's not sales, right? It's like,
I think it was a learning curve. I think you hit it right there, Mark. Like in hindsight, if in thinking in terms of it, it's like, you could want something so bad for someone else, but if they don't want it, you already know the story, right? And I started seeing that. It's like, man, these are my peers that, hey, this is the secret right here, this thing, right? This thing. What are you doing? And then, it would just frustrate me beyond anything. Gosh. It would just totally frustrate me. And I was like, no, I'm gonna take a time out. And so in that, though, what both my broker, Chris Waters, and the president, who my friend Bradley Pounds, what they saw is that even when I took a little bit of time out to go back to do my own thing, the team still would follow whatever I was doing. Like if I was in the office, they were in the office. If I was making calls, they would try to make calls. Maybe they weren't making them as good as I was, but at least they were trying to mimic my behaviors, which that intrigued them. And so right after, unfortunately, my dad passed in July, actually it's gonna be in a couple of days, 6 years ago. At the end of 2016, they approached me, and then they also approached our director. Well, at that time, he was just our transaction coordinator, and they were like, hey, we're about to write a book. It's called the $1 Million Real Estate Team. Susanna, you're going to be the director of sales. You, Vince, you're going to be the director of ops, and we'll pop in. Y'all run the office, get it, go. Here's 20 agents, see what you do. And
then
I mean, an opportunity.
They left you the office and they went off to like Hawaii or something.
Well, no. What Brad went to go write a book. Chris is very much present, but we were trying to scale out of Austin. We were just trying to find other people like-minded like ourselves to scale. I mean, we were a team and here in Austin that was hitting #1 in the Austin Business Journal Awards just because of how we were going. And so with that, I inherited a team. I learned pretty hard the principles of leadership. We can know it, but when you're living it, what do you do about it? Well, I challenged myself that first year to read 52 books in 52 weeks, that whole like leadership mind. I mean, you can kind of tell I have a little bit of a problem, as you can see right behind me, right? But knowledge is power, Mark and Zach, right? And so I was not going to let this opportunity go for me. I was going to make something happen. Again, creating my own legacy, right? And so, yes, I was able to help our team go from 500, 600, 700 transactions. And then the last year of my tenure as the director of sales, we hit about 920 during COVID. And that was all based on culture. A lot of
Latinos in the
culture in the sense of there's a strong culture of agents coming in, agents understanding the fundamentals. And when we had to go all virtual, all got sent home on literally Friday, March 13th. I'll never forget it. We had an executive meeting that day. We had to shut down Austin for like 6 months. Yeah. Making people get up in the morning to still do this. So we had to get creative. I was taking pictures of my cowboy boots, at 8 a.m. saying, I'm dressed. What about you? And had the whole team take pictures of their feet. They would get plugged into the phone, get onto a call jam, make it happen.
Love it.
Love
it.
And then from there, we've been able to scale into different cities, our team model. So we're located in 18 other areas, a couple of states and one in Canada. And so with that now, that's where I transition into the current role of where I am as the National Sales and Leadership Coach. So not only do I get the opportunity to coach agents and see them at night. I get to coach, buyer agent team leads and listing agent team leads, and then even the team owners now, because I've had in a short amount of time a lot of different things, and learning within the 4 years of being the director of sales of a brokerage here in Austin, Texas. So.
Now, have you been a whirlwind? I mean, you've really ramped up very quickly. You started in 2013, not that long ago.
It's interesting though. I was just going to say to that point that, like, I believe, if you really look at the Realtor kind of business model, I hate to say this, and it's nothing that I say is pejorative, right? But it's almost like it's a multi-level marketing type of structure, right? You have to bring people in to your business as clients, but you also have to do some business building. And if you get big enough and you get good enough, you also have to, building that business means you add more people under you, and then they work their networks and things like that and so on. And you're up, I guess, kicking up.
Exactly.
But there's only so far that people's networks can go. And at a certain point, they have to get the higher training in order to kick into the marketing part of it. You can't do it too early. Like you can't hammer the marketing and all of a sudden you're on bus stops and try to build a book. You have to work your network first and then, work into that. And some people, flame out in that early part. I think I did in a lot of ways, but again, like I was very happy to move to commercial, which is a whole nother beast, right? Just a whole nother
It's a whole nother beast.
Yeah.
It's a whole nother beast. But even within your field, there's still teams involved, right? And 100%. It's all about how do you scale it? And I think, early on, we really had, we figured it out in a very early point. It's like, hey, brand awareness, you focus on your strengths, right? Everybody focus on their strengths. Meanwhile, we're providing trajectory paths, which is unheard of sometimes in, certain brokerages, depending on how they're set up. Like I literally started one morning as a social worker, and now I'm in front of you as a leader that has literally went and coached our team in Harlingen, Texas. I was there last week. I'm going to go to our team in Toronto next week. And I'm able to do that because I was able to go through all these different areas within our team. And that's the thing. I'm one of a few and one of many that eventually we see, in coaching people, you play them into where are they in the right role?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And being able to have candid conversations about that with somebody. It's like, hey, I think you would really thrive here. And this is why. What do you think? It's always what they think first, but it's about putting people in the right roles.
Right.
I was just having drinks with a friend who tried to make it as a commercial broker, a commercial real estate agent. And he gave it, I think, 2 years and wasn't able to close a deal. And granted, commercial is different than residential, but you were saying when you started out, I mean, you had a very limited budget. You're pretty much working on commission.
And 1% converting leads.
Yeah, and 1%. I know. So what do you what are some of the tips and advice you tell new realtors as you're training them about how to be successful when you're first starting out?
Sure. I tell them from the front end, if they can show up every morning with a good attitude and they can show up every morning wanting to give it hell, I can help them with the skills and I can help them with the knowledge. But, the triangle doesn't stay on two sides alone. I need them to have the attitude, and I need them, as far as being positive, there are going to be days that are not good, but I need them to stay positive and I need them to do the work. I need them to prospect. And if they can't do that, it's not going to work. And we already know it's a 90-day time frame for the both of us, the agent and myself, or even a leader that may be coming. It's like, can you have buy-in with the team within 90 days? You either do or you don't. You usually have that within the first week. If not, it's not going to work. They're going to reject you like an appendage. We just need to, reposition you back into production or, whatever potential role you're in. And I think that's the important thing for any agent that may be listening to this, and getting into it. You got to work and you got to work hard, and you got to work hard for the first year without any, it's not like the TV shows. I know you probably very cliche on that, but you got to really make a resolution to be consistent every day and
Consist-
leveling up every day.
And you know, for me, and maybe this isn't everybody's fears, but you hit upon the P word, right? That prospecting word really directly goes to the heart of the fear and the loathing and all of that of kind of sales. And that phone that you were showing us, right? Those two go together, and you have to have something in you that gets you over that hump to be able to dial and call up your uncle or call up your neighbor or call up whoever it is and just tell them what you're doing. You might not be selling, but telling them what you're doing so that you can start opening those doors, because you have to open your mouth to people.
Exactly.
You can't be an internet realtor.
No,
it doesn't work.
No, and it's right. And you know, Zach, you mentioned, you know, this program today is, you know, generation XYZ, you know, and I love your little phrase, you know, stop waiting for the world to change, be the change. Like I was like, that gave me the little things here. But in that, I start off telling agents, hey guys, guess what? Prospecting sucks. And I want everybody to yell that right now 3 times. I want you to just get that out, that yes, it sucks. If it was easy, everybody would be in this business. So let's just go ahead and get that thought out of your head. In that, we pivot into why are you here and why are you a realtor?
Yeah.
Like I gave you guys my why. That why made me show up first thing in the morning, stay there at night, grind it out, you know, late nights showing properties. Why? Because of why. And so a lot of the times when we do get agents of different areas, right? As leaders, we have to be able to connect with them individually, because not everybody learns the same, right?
Yeah.
Not everybody speaks the same language. But as leaders, the reason why we are capable of being leaders is because we know that. And in that, we have to be able to be very intentional on how we can connect with that person, get real with them. And either it works or it doesn't, and it's okay. Like we part ways is, you know, not, this isn't for everybody. But again, you know, I like to really find out their why. I really like to go into the SWOT process with them. Like, you know, we do that as companies, but it's important for us to do that with our team members to know what they think their strengths are. What are their weaknesses? What are the things that they want as opportunities? Because if I hear somebody in their first, you know, year saying, hey, Susanna, you know, I want to be a listing agent at some point. Well, you know what? As a leader, then I'm going to do everything I can in my power to get to clear that path and be able to get you that trajectory, right? And threats are an important thing. You know, I've had agents say, hey, I don't think I can scale in this business because of the color of my skin. I don't think I can scale in this business because I only have 5 cents in my bank account. Or, you know what, that needs to come out too, because we are people, we're human, and we need to know, you know, where people are so that we know if they're not doing well here and being very desperate. The reason why they're being desperate is because of the pressure here. But what if I could help during an hour where that pressure's off and I help make calls with you? Hell, I'll help you set up appointments with you.
I love it.
Right?
Yeah.
Or I'll shadow you and see this is the one little thing that is what's screwing you up, and there, make your money, you know? And I think a lot of leaders maybe shouldn't be in leadership. I do think, or a lot of people want to be something and it's a title to them, but again, it shouldn't be. And I think if anybody is listening to that, I really hope that they know that if they're not feeling supported where they are, then they should go and find someone that does support them.
That's good advice.
That's
you know,
fantastic.
you use the word desperate, and it to me, I think about, oftentimes I get calls from younger realtors, and there's a sense of desperation that they really need to close the deal. And that's kind of a turnoff for me. And I kind of juxtapose that to you talking about how you're very personable and you can talk to anybody. And I'm wondering what your thoughts are on, like, you know, how do you help people overcome that? You know, they need to make calls, they want to close, they need to close to make money, but avoiding that sense of desperation that people can kind of detect and smell.
So that is exactly what ends up happening, Zach, right? It's like there's something there. They want to close the deal. That's their focus. Then it becomes about the deal and not about them. Well, it becomes more about them closing the deal. It's not about the other person that they're wanting to help. So that's one thing that we have to remedy pretty quickly. we got to figure out if this person that is saying these statements, are they saying it because it truly is that they are desperate, or are they really the other coin to that, where it's always going to be about them anyway? Doesn't matter, even if they had closed 10 deals prior to having your conversation, it's always going to be about them, right? We choose to be, the group that likes to help the ones that need to close it because it's about the other person. And so I think that also requires a deeper dive of conversation. If someone is saying that, I think we got to dig in why. I think asking why is a really good, important fact, regardless of where you are. And I don't think enough people ask it. I don't think enough people ask it.
Yeah, and
so
I guess
in that scenario, I would ask the people, so why do you want to be a realtor? Really? Okay, tell me why. Tell me why.
you brought up a really good point too, in terms of, I was just thinking about this. I have a background in the entertainment industry, specifically some acting, and one of the
I saw your
so one of the things that really changed the performing aspect for me, and I'm carrying this over into some of my roles in business, is actually this really kind of turned a light bulb on for me many years ago, where I was taught to stop putting the attention on myself, right? Whether I think I was on stage or something like that, and I got this direction to just start noticing things about that other person that I was taught. Don't worry about the lines. Don't worry about what's going on in the scene. Just what's going on with that person. And the more I've grown older and thought about it, especially in sales, that's a really good perspective to approach the sales process from. It's not soft selling. It's not hard selling. It's not even necessarily selling, although what happens is that when you're really doing that and you're really interested in what's going on with other people and you're not focused on yourself, self-consciousness goes away. If you're belly to belly, which real estate should be, hopefully, if we can get past a lot of this COVID crap, do you know what I mean? Like, because that's what real estate is, right? Just being in front of people and chatting them up a bit, that you're not, trying to figure out what to do with your hands and all of that stuff, but you're really interested in them. And even when you're talking, you're looking for cues, what I mean? To know that they're there. And so I guess my point is that it really kind of cuts really deep to, and you kind of touched on it. It's really good advice to really take that why and kind of translate it into something that creates confidence in them, so they can sit back, be confident, and be able to put their attention on the other people. I think that's the connection I was really trying to make. It's like the oh my gosh, I'm broke. That's your why, but that has to go away at a certain point, and you realize, okay, that's not going to change. And
Exactly.
so I'm not, I may or may not get that money right
It's
now.
not going to change,
right?
But on there, it's your opportunity to change if you do it the right way. If you can muster up enough of the courage and confidence and assumptiveness and just appear that way, everything else will fall into play. If you can just muster up your courage and your confidence.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And I suppose having the courage and the confidence also helps you deal with the fear of rejection when you've got to make hundreds of calls a week.
Oh yeah. I mean, I made $13,000 my first year in real estate. There was a lot of no's in that,
Yeah.
and that's what I tell most agents. It's like, oh, that's not enough calls. Go. I'm like, let's celebrate the first no. Y'all, the first agent tell me who gets the first no. Okay, we got that one out of the way. There's no more excuse. Let's go, right? You got to make it fun. I mean, that's the other thing. That's why I'm saying, like, sometimes, you wherever you end up in the path of real estate, I think it's important to find a group of people that support you no matter what, or at least make it fun. Like, if prospecting sucks, we know that, but we're going to make it as fun as possible to where it can dull the pain just enough for you to be able to just get to where you need to be. Right.
Sure.
And, Mark, there's a whole nother thing now, virtual selling. I mean, with the on and off thing of COVID, now people have to be prepared to give it just as much intensity, even that belly to belly. Now you have to do it now, even on a virtual screen, the consultations that have to happen. And so that is a whole nother new skill. Just in the last year, we've had to very much empower our agents in, you know, maybe you don't get the tour that listing. Maybe it is a virtual. How, without seeing it, yes, they can send you pictures. How can you still connect with them and be authentic? And it comes down to authenticity.
Authenticity. Yeah.
Well, that's what's really incredible about how well your business did during COVID, because, you know, who could have predicted, you know, all of the different economics and things that happened during COVID. But to be in sales, in a sales category where you have to have this personable relationship, especially when you're dealing with residential real estate where it's so emotional, and to be handicapped by not being able to have that face-to-face interaction and trying to interact by Zoom, it's quite an accomplishment to have that sales record during that time frame.
I agree.
It was, you know, I have to thank a lot our broker and of course our president that allowed me to try to pivot very quickly on, okay, we're going to be very proactive. If our agents can only be the ones in the house and the consumer can't be in there, then what does that look like, right? If our agents can't go on these listing appointments and have to do it virtual, what does that look like? But in that, you know, it's out of all of it, it was reminding the entire team every morning. I mean, I would send them songs in the morning, you know, Colors by the Black Pumas, some Mary Chapin Carpenter, you know, whatever it was that would just, you know, tickle their fancies. But the point of my morning message to everybody was that, what is your why? Even more so right now with this uncertainty. I know y'all are scared. Hell, I'm scared too. But we can't lose our shit right now. Sorry for saying, like, we got to stay strong because we got to keep our eye on the prize. It's not for, you know, the accolades of number one, or no, it's nothing about that. It's the fact that we have an opportunity to still plug forward and be able to take care of not only ourselves, but our families because of this unknown territory.
Right.
So there's no reason to go back into shell in this. No, I need everybody to show up even on a virtual setting and give it their absolute help. And I will be there to support you in any way that I can. Right. And I think during that time, the agents felt that. And that's why they were like, no problem. Let's go, boss. Let's go.
And you know, the situation itself after a couple of months, residential sales were, I mean, the situation actually, it opened doors that weren't previously open in a lot of ways. People were looking to either get rid of their urban home and move out
and
to
get
other
closer
places
to their family or vice versa. So luckily we had never turned the gas off,
right,
you know, of the energy of our team's momentum.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And so in terms of like advanced, like, have you had any of your students kind of surpass you and kind of start moving into directions that you couldn't even imagine? Because that's kind of the next step, right? The student kind of overtakes the mentor.
So excited to see it. Like and currently in Austin, I have an agent who was one of my buyer agents that now is getting tested in some uncharted territories there. I absolutely love it. And I'm seeing agents now across the country that I'm coaching, you know, a year and a half ago in this role as being a buyer agent. And now they are the manager, the sales manager of the buy side of their team in just a year and a half, where it took me 3 or 4 years. So what I'm finding is the beauty of playing it forward for someone, right? Taking all of our failing forwards too, to be able to share that with our people. You know, we're one team, one dream. And it's working. Like, then, you know, I already know that my agent that I just described, that's now a leader in Denver, I know she's already playing for it. She already has a peer coach, already came and knocked on her shoulder, like tapped on her shoulder. Hey, I know you're busy here. I don't need to get paid for this, but I want to go in the direction you're going. So it's just, when you're excited and love what you do and passionate about it, how can people not ignite from it?
Sure.
Right. It's the best accomplishment when you get surpassed by someone. Like, come on, like that's what you want to have.
Do you think that, because not everybody's in real estate, right? And it's a very particular kind of product that you're selling. Do you think that the stuff that you teach, or even that you actively do, do you feel like you could go and sell pretty much anything now based on what you know?
Yeah, well, luckily I was raised on a ranch, so I already had that. You know, I can talk cross fencing with any cowboy that needs to sell a big large tract of land. It's my job to share that with my agents that have never had that opportunity to know that this is what an arena is. This is a shoot. This is what it's for, right? Mm-hmm. And same thing with vacant land, whether it's luxury, same thing. We all got to cut our teeth in all of these different markets that, as leaders, we gotta dig in deep. And if we've never done it, then we need to figure out who's done it, or we can bring in another market expert to be able to help our team grow, And I think that should never be anything beneath us in doing that.
Right. Interesting.
Yeah.
Have you gotten to take a vacation throughout all of this?
Like, of course. Yeah. I mean,
when's the last place you went?
Probably my 4th year as the DOS, or that finally started to scale down. But even now, I have been very intentional with time blocking now that I do. I mean, I have as many agents, if not, of course, hundreds that are all, within our network. Yeah. So I have to be very intentional about time blocking, as far as what's direct income producing for me, what is indirect. Mm-hmm. Same fundamentals that even we coach our agents on. It's the same type of thing, just even on the leadership aspect of things. And so I think everybody has to be very, very clear about what that looks like. And of course, we all don't like to track our time and see, what it is. But if that is what it's going to take in order for you to have work-life balance, then that's one of the things that you need to do.
Yeah.
Very really cool. Interesting. What is your territory now? Are you geographically broader across multiple MSAs, or
sure? So our Austin office, that's our headquarters. That's Waters International Realty. It's now expanding into some other corporate offices of Houston and Dallas and San Antonio. Okay. Now we also have partner teams that have joined us. One's in South Texas, one's in Killeen. We have one in Bakersfield, California. We got one in Virginia Beach, Naples, Jacksonville, Jonesboro, Arkansas.
No kidding.
Indiana, Canada, Maryland.
So these are people overseeing the coaching for all of these teams?
Mm-hmm. It's all the team model.
And these are agents
they can teach their state-supported real estate, but it's our team model. We're helping them scale with the way that we scaled here in Austin. It's our team model.
I was just going to ask, and so are these agents that started out in Austin and said, "Hey, we're moving out to California," or was it
These are actually people. Let me find it real quick. That remember I said the boys packed up their stuff once Chris and Brad came out with this. The $1 million real estate team. I mean, it talks in terms of our journey in those first couple of years, and I mean, we really have it figured out as far as how to scale. A top producing agent who wants a little bit more, maybe wants a team. We've proven that here over the last couple of years, just in these other cities, because they've all come to us being an agent that has sold maybe 50, 70 homes. Is that self-sustaining lifetime? Probably not, right? That's not right. Like if you want to have a legacy, right? You have to figure out about, I can sell 70 homes a year, I can sell 100, 150. But when do I burn out if I don't start bringing on other people? And so, in Chris's journey, even in Bradley's journey, and Helen, even in my journey, it's the importance of how to scale, when to scale, who to hire, how to hire, all those things.
Interesting.
And, so that's how we've been able to get incorporated into and partnering with other like-minded individuals and helping them scale into the different, stages of that.
That's great. Actually,
Mark had mentioned, multi-level marketing and kind of made an analogy to residential real estate sales. And it reminded me of Gary Keller's book and their system, which is very pyramid organized. And I'm wondering if your company has a similar approach, because I think at one point you were talking about how you didn't want to have a huge team underneath you. How do you guys structure your business and building teams? Is it a similar pyramid structure, or is it some other structure?
They're their own team. We just provide the foundation of it and coaching and instruction, and just provide the guidance for it. And ultimately it's going to be the team owner's decision about what they decide to do or not, but we're going to say, we kind of have it figured out. So go ahead. It's kind of like an agent. Hey, go ahead, get that stuff. I'm telling you, you shouldn't do that. Okay, go ahead and do it. And then they're like, Okay, Susanna just read. Okay, so
page 75.
man,
It's on page 75, man.
Oh man.
Oh man. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's just, it's just being able to partner, like I said, with other individuals and that want to scale, that don't want to be just a single producing agent. If you do, that's great. But our model is very much about a team and about being able to really, time is very essential.
Mhm.
So what if in the front end, it doesn't look like you're going to be able to scale because of, all these other individuals or things you got going on. But I mean, I'm an example in a short amount of time, how I've been able to scale trajectory wise. And that's what we're really about. We have a proven path that we're able to help take people in the same lane in their own respected cities.
That's cool.
Well, that's great.
Yeah, that's very cool.
What's the name of the book again, in case people
sure.
are interested?
Their book is called The $1 Million Real Estate Team. Chris Waters, my broker. And
are you going to write one yourself, or do you have any courses
yes,
yourself?
I've been working on mine. It's actually called Give It Hell Dale Ganas. Translation. That I have the outline here, literally here in my office, and I'm about halfway through it. I hopefully to have it out next year.
Nice.
Just on kind of a take on 12 steps as far as like when you make a decision, the kind of things that the mind, the body, and everything goes through. Like the first thing is actually making a resolution. Like, hey, I just quit my job. I'm gonna be a realtor. Then after, I made the resolution, I've proclaimed it to everybody. Well, now I have to be consistent about it. And it's just these different little layers that I really want to be able to share with people that are not only in real estate. I think that would work in any kind of, it's just life, right? It's just life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent.
We'll have to keep an eye out for that when
I will let you guys know. Promise.
Well, in the meantime, if we have new or not new realtors who are looking to 10x their business, how can they get in touch with you?
Sure. So they can find me on the gram. I'll use the Susanna.Medrano. They can also find me in ChristopherWaters.com. That's our headquarters website. I am currently offering a course. It's a free mini course on specifically prospecting, and then that it's gonna be built into other different layers. But it's called salesminicourse.com. That you can take a course. I talk in terms of what is called a call jam, just being able. Because again, that's the first pillar. If you can't master that, then real estate is probably not something that you should be cut out for. So along that too, people would be able to also follow the different things that will be coming out. And I should have a book of scripts coming out probably next month if the timing is right on that.
Oh.
Well, this has been terrific. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Yeah, very inspirational. Thank you so much.
Guys, I just appreciate you both, and thank you, of course, for the invitation. This has been great, and I'm a fan. So I just, again, stop waiting for the world to change, be the change. Like, come on. That is so great. So great.
Fantastic. Well, you're doing exactly that. Thank you so much, Susanna.
Thank you.
10X for Gen XYZ is hosted by Zach Winter and Mark Adair Rios, co-founders of Prosperity CRE, a commercial real estate investment firm committed to providing its investors with ongoing cash flow and building long-term wealth. If you like the podcast, please give us a positive rating and subscribe to be notified about future content. Also, if you'd like to learn more about our approach to real estate investing, you can download a free copy of our real estate investment book, Investing for Cash Flow and Long-Term Wealth, by clicking the link in the show notes below. Thank you, and stay tuned for our upcoming episodes.